Hello, and welcome to the Smart Editor Overview. My name's Dan Hare, I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Forefront, and we've built a fantastic new email editor for eShop. It's got lots of great features in it, which I'm going to show you today, and it's going to help you to write really great emails that are accessible and responsive, and indeed interactive. So let's have a look at what we've got for you. The first thing I'm going to do is give you a brief overview of the main controls within the interface. You can change the design name, you can pick templates. You can also choose to have the editor displayed in different languages. And then if you're among the more geeky, then you can actually get at the code underneath your email. One of the fantastic new features that I'm very, very excited to introduce is what we call Infinite Restore. You'll see here, I can click on this button and it will show me a history of this email. And if I decide that I've actually made a mistake or I want to go back to how it was before, I can pick a previous version and then restore it. And that snapshot happens automatically on a fairly continuous basis. So there'll be no need for you to think about saving a design as you go. What you have with the Smart Editor is a range of blocks, content blocks, different types of things that you can put into your email design. And we're going to cover each of those today, starting off with the basics: images, text and buttons. Text, you've got complete control over the style. You can predefine styles and indeed choose from different fonts. And you can also add merge tags, dynamic content, to your text items. We've given images a great big overhaul. You're able to enhance and customize images directly within the interface. What you're also able to do is pick from a library of stock photography, all royalty free, that you can pull straight into your design. The other thing we've done is we've given the ability for you to host your own images if you are linking to external assets. And that's very, very easy to control on an image by image basis. The next element we'll look at are buttons, and you've got a great deal of control over how your buttons work and indeed how they look within the Smart Editor. First off, you can choose different protocols, you can link to URLs, but you can also do things like linking to downloads, linking to initiate a click to call, or indeed things like a mail to link. The button itself, you've got a great deal of control over the format. You can change the colors, you can change the padding, the orientation, and there's a huge amount of control you have to make these look good, and indeed everything is coded to make them bulletproof by default. Next, we're going to have a look at the new capabilities to add videos and social elements to your emails. Starting off with video, we've made it super simple for you to include videos from other locations like YouTube and Vimeo. All you have to do is get the URL of the video from the relevant site and then paste it into the video link. What eShop will then do is it will go and fetch that video and indeed read a preview of the video from that third-party site and automatically include it in your email. You've got the ability to customize that thumbnail if you don't want the default version from YouTube or Vimeo, and you also can do things like change the look and feel of the play button. Next, we'll have a look at the social tools. Within your email design, you can include a menu bar to give you a range of social options. First of all, you've got control over the look and feel. You can have custom icons, but you've also got a range of defaults there in different styles and colours. You can also change the size of these, and indeed, if perhaps you're doing a business email, Facebook might not be appropriate, but you've got a whole selection of different networks you can add. And there you see, we can put LinkedIn in nice and easily. The lovely thing about these sorts of features is once you've got this as you want it, you can template it, or indeed you can save it as a module, and then any other email design that you're working on, you just can include something that you've configured earlier on. Next up, we're going to have a look at banners, timers, and menus. These are some of the most requested new feature items that we've included with this release. Let's go through each of them individually. Firstly, we've got menus. If you want to include a navigation in your email, if you want to mimic your website, or perhaps you have a range of topics that you cover in your newsletter, you can provide a navigation with icons and links, just icons, or indeed just links to those items. I've chosen a pretty standard 3 options here, but you can expand on that so you can have 4, 5, or however many you like. Just bear in mind how it will look on a mobile design. Next up, we have banners. And this is where you can combine text with an image in the same space without having to rely on tools like Photoshop. What I've done here is I've dropped a background image in, and then I've laid some text over the top. That text remains editable, but don't worry, when the email goes out, it'll all be bulletproof. So we can change the text to whatever we like within that image space. Now, quite often with images, they don't necessarily suit the background which they are being used with. And that's where you've got some great features here whereby you can blur or indeed apply a color filter to the image automatically within this editor so that you can make sure the text stands out on top. This, I think, will be a really, really welcome addition, because I know if, like you guys, I've spent a lot of time over the years doing things like this in Photoshop, and doing it in the Smart Editor is just a lot quicker and a lot easier. Next up, we have the new countdown timers. If you're running events and webinars, then you can include a dynamic countdown timer in your email design, which will tell people how long left until the event or a deadline. This is a really, really great way of encouraging urgency with your design. And all you have to do is set the date, the time, and indeed the time zone, and eShop will do the rest. You've got a fantastic range of control over the look and feel of these countdown timers again, and I'm very, very confident that they will help you to get a better response to your date-driven campaigns. Last, but by no means least, we have the new interactive email elements. These rely on a new type of email called AMP, Accelerated Mobile Pages, and it's a really, really exciting development in the world of email technology. What you're able to do with these tools is include things in your emails that will actually adapt depending on how people interact with the email. And I'm going to show you a quick example today with one that I prepared earlier. In this email, I've added some detail about a webinar. Now, what if you had several webinars to include in the same email, or indeed any situation where the normal amount of content that you need to fit in your email is extremely extensive? Using the accordion feature, what I built here is a section for the recording, a section to download the slides, and then some useful links to accompany this webinar. Now, what happens with the accordion format is when it's displayed using the AMP email format, is you actually get an interactive email where you can jump between the sections and collapse them accordingly. As the name suggests, accordion, you can open and close them vertically. We also have carousel, which enables you to do the same left to right, side to side. The forms element is a little bit more involved because you actually have to hook that up to a data store so that you're able to capture information that is directly inputted into your email. These are really, really exciting tools, and I really can't wait to work with some of you with these. There are some restrictions on who can use AMP. You have to be registered with the various ISPs that accept it, and we'll be talking to you about that in more detail in the coming weeks. I hope you'll agree, the Smart Editor gives you some fantastic new email capabilities, and I'm sure you're really going to enjoy using it. But that's not the only things that we've got to introduce for you today. To support the Smart Editor, we've also got a completely new designs menu, and I'm going to show you a little bit more about that now. First off, when you create a new design in eShot, you have a new experience. You put your design name in, and then we've introduced something called tags. Tags help you to organize your designs. So if you're putting together a newsletter, then you can just tag it with newsletter. If you are doing advertising on behalf of a third party, perhaps you want to tag any email that features a promotion for them with the advertiser's name. And we'll look at how this is used in the existing designs menu later on as to how you can then sort and filter to find the right designs. Once you've given it a name, you've got the usuals of setting the sender details, and eShot will just pick up the defaults for your account from that. However, if you want to manually override that, you can. What you also then have is some fantastic new options in relation to the message intro. First of all, you've got a great subject line. And within that subject line, you're then able to add merge tags, dynamic content. So we might want to personalize it to say a great subject line for insert company name. Now when you insert a dynamic field into the subject, you'll notice that it's gone yellow. And if I click on it, what it will ask me to do is set a fallback. So for instance, if the company name is missing for some records in your database, eShot will automatically fill it with a fallback. So let's go with something like your business. Once the fallback's inputted, the dynamic content will turn green and you know you're good to go. The other thing we've introduced is a smart new way of adding emojis to your subject line. If you click the emoji button here, it'll give you a menu which you can browse through. The other thing you can do is search for a specific emoji. And I think let's just have a little rocket to celebrate this launch. You've then got the preview text, the bit of copy that shows underneath the subject line before you actually get to the body of an email. And this should always support the subject line. What you're also able to do now is add white space to the preview, and that will stop any leak from the code in the email design itself showing in those top couple of lines. And that's a really great way to make sure things like view and browser links are hidden from that all-important preview space within the email. Once you've done that, you're then into the editor itself and looking to use all the great features that we covered earlier on. We also have an entirely new user interface for the existing designs. You can search by the name or the subject of your email, or as we looked at when we looked at new designs, you can also filter your messages by tag, and that will shorten the selection to anything that's tagged with the relevant item. In addition, within this user interface, you can get a quick look at the email. So as you browse through the designs and roll over the thumbnail, you'll get a look at what the whole email is like, and that's a really easy way of then finding the right design. There's a number of other key pieces of information displayed, indeed who built it, when was it last modified, the type of email that is, and as you might have noticed with the new design that I created just now where I didn't add the actual design, it'll tell you if there's anything wrong that would prevent you from actually using this email design in a live campaign. This new way of finding your way around your existing designs should help you to find the emails that you want quicker and easier, and indeed to organise things with tags much more effectively. Lastly, on the right hand side, you'll notice the Actions menu, and that gives you the ability to jump straight into editing a design or the details of a campaign. You can also get at the preview, send tests, or clone it, make a copy of it, and then start again. The next item in the new designs menu is templates. And what you can do here is actually create email templates to share with your colleagues across an entire account, or indeed the designers at eShot have given you a helping hand and got a selection of email templates which you can pick from to get you going straight away. The lovely thing about these templates is once you've picked them, you can design them, you can change them, you can do whatever you like to them and then save them as new templates. Now when you save them as a new template, you've then got a range of options. You can make that template available just for you, you can share it with other users in your sub account, or if you are an administrator in an agency or a large enterprise account, then you can actually share an email template across all users and all sub accounts. You can also make that template the default for any new designs. As you might imagine, these features depend on the permissions that you've got and your access level to eShop. What you will find with the stock library within eShop now are some templates that have been designed by our in-house team. They've been done to the highest standards, we've made sure they're responsive, we've made sure they're accessible, and if you use one of these as the basis for creating a new design, you can be confident that you're starting off with something that's of an incredibly high quality. The good news is we've tested these in every conceivable way you might want, and you can use them as a bit of a Swiss Army knife really for creating new designs using the various features within the Smart Editor. The last item in our new designs menu is the ability to add custom fonts. Again, one of the things that in your feedback you asked us to include. And this is a really easy way of you ensuring that you can add corporate fonts or indeed creative fonts to your email designs. Earlier on, in setting up for this demonstration, I found a handsome looking font called Mr. Darcy, and all I had to do was go and grab the CSS link for that custom font. If you're using tools like Google Fonts or Adobe Fonts, then this is really easy to do and you'll find help information on our site. Once you've added the font, then it's important to just set the fallbacks. Although custom fonts are supported in most email clients now, there are a few that still don't like them, and therefore it's always a good shout to not just set the family and a fallback, but to give the font some options just in case Mr. Darcy cannot be found. Once it's added, you can enable it or indeed disable it in the editor. And if we then jump back to the designs, hopefully here's one that I prepared earlier. There he is, Mr. Darcy, in all his glory, and as you'll see now in the font menu, as a consequence of including the code for it, I've now got the option to choose those custom fonts in any part of my design. As you might expect, the standard fonts are still there, but we've also added a range of other non-standard fonts to give you some more creative options when it comes to text. The Smart Editor is an entirely free addition to the eShop platform for all of our customers. The only difference is the AMP email format. The interactive emails are only available to customers who have eShop Auto or eShop Marketing Cloud. Everything else I've shown you today is available to you all, and I really hope you enjoy using it. I'm very confident that you'll be able to create some fantastic looking emails from it, and I look forward to seeing the results. Thank you very much.